Salam and peace. This is Imam Malik Mujahid, and you're watching Muslim Network TV. We're always there 24/7 on Galaxy 19 satellite, covering the whole United States, Canada, and Mexico, north to south, east to west, every place, including 50 million subscribers in the rural India, rural America, and Canada. We're also there on OTT devices, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku. You can download our app, Muslim Network TV, or go on our website, muslimnetwork.tv. And if you're one of those people who watch everything on YouTube, you can watch us there, but feel free to subscribe as well. Well, and while we were still wondering what's going to happen to those people who invaded Capitol Hill to destroy our democracy, somebody decided they don't want to be behind, and Burmese military, which committed a genocide against Rohingya people and committed crimes against humanity of Karen and Kachin people inside Burma, decided, hey, well, too much democracy, too bad for Burma. They took over the country, detaining all the leaders, especially Aung San Suu Kyi, who actually defended the military and its genocide and everything else. So you have a mixed feeling about that, what would you like to, if world has taken a stronger stand against the military who committed genocide and crimes against humanity, then military probably will be on notice. They might not have done that. But the world remained silent, and they thought, well, another gain signal, whatever we do, nobody seems to care. And they did that. So, of course, the President President Biden issued a statement. Secretary of State issued a statement. Forthcoming chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee issued a statement. When I'm reading this statement, I was wondering where these people are. Again, America is showing absence of true knowledge. It was the military who committed genocide, and now it is the same military who dismissed democracy. So you cannot keep saying democracy, 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 unless you recognize it's the same culprit. And mention of any minorities or Rohingya or genocide was missing from all three statements of the US government. So to discuss what is happening and what is Burmese military and why they are so powerful and what they keep doing and what is happening right now, I have two very amazing leaders. I have known them for long. And one is Myra. Myra is managing director of the US campaign for Burma and a former internally displaced person and a Karen refugee from Eastern Myanmar. Welcome to Muslim Network TV, Myra.
Thank you for having me.
And we also have with us Tun Khin from London. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam.
Tun Khin is president of the Burmese Rohingya organization based in UK. He's probably the most significant Rohingya leader around the world, along with his organization. So have you both been talking to your relatives and contacts in Burma?
Yes, I did speak with some friends on the ground, colleagues.
So some phone connection, then it means is restored, right?
Perhaps those I speak to, they're not directly living in Rangoon. So yes, they do have phone connection. And also they are somewhat closer down to the southern part of the country, Pa'an, along those lines. So probably they're not impacted at this point with the shutdown of the internet and the phone lines. But Tun Khin might have connection with those in Rangoon, and they might have different condition probably.
So Tun Khin, have you been able to talk to some people in Burma after the coup?
Yeah, I couldn't get earlier first when I received the message, like when I saw in Facebook and others. I tried to get through. I didn't get for a few hours on Monday, Burma time, and later on I got some people, but is quite a difficult some areas to speak, especially when I tried. It looks now is a bit better compared with yesterday, I should say.
So are there some people doing some protest anywhere?
There is a lot of complication, a lot of confusion, that a lot of propagandas also going on. Like we are monitoring about it. There are military backed, Mabata, which is 969 groups, are wearing NLD shirts, and they are trying to get the people out. A kind of, they are pretending that's the things we are hearing, and the other side, that is a kind of diversion from government military. These military dictators, that they do not want to see that happen. A kind of making confuse the people, and we are quite worried that people may come out. That is one thing we do not know. But a few hours ago, we have seen nighttime, many people, they are showing, they are protesting, with many people in Rangoon, they off the light, and they just trying to protest the military. That's kind of things I've seen so far.
Mhm. So, so what I hate to ask you, what is your feeling for Aung San Suu Kyi at this moment?
For me,
Yes,
yeah.
for you and Myra both.
Myra, go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't feel sad for her, but I feel sad for the country. Yes, the country is trying to get back on track, and here is a stumbling block. But at the same time, it is not really something that is unique. The fact is that looking at this military, they can do anything anytime. So yes, it's kind of like all of a sudden, but at the same time, it is not that surprising that the military would do something like this. And it's very interesting that I also heard it from some of the friends that Aung San Suu Kyi got to learn a hard lesson. It's not that we want her to get to this point and to get to learn this hard lesson, but I mean, I feel as though if she was speaking up a little bit before, making known what the country needs, instead of allowing military to get to this point, the situation might be different. And so some people who are listening to me right now might be thinking that I blame her. If you say so, I don't mind. I do to a certain extent, because she was talking about being brave, being courageous, don't fear. But apparently she was the one putting herself under fear, in a sense that allowing the military to do what they need to do to the point where we are right now. And this is not the democratic that we wanted to see for our country. And this is not a democratic way anymore. It's a coup. So how do we get back to the reality is a very important question. But for her, it's a hard lesson.
Tun Khin, it was exactly 1 year ago, Aung San Suu Kyi was standing in the court at ICJ in Hague, Netherlands, and defending the military. You remember that? You were there.
Exactly, I remember. One thing what I want to point here is, for me, we want to offer our solidarity and sympathy, and I feel sad that all the people of Burma who voted in 2020 election in November. So for me, I condemn the coup, where the military taking power with the people of will. But when you come up to Aung San Suu Kyi's point, I mean, this is we campaigned for her before 2010, many years, and we have not seen she's speaking of human rights. And during her time, we have seen arresting people, and many human rights activists been arrested, and we have not seen that much in Burma about other minorities, and particularly Rohingya genocide under her watch that's gone through. And same time, as you mentioned, she went to the ICJ to defend the military. So sadly, this is a reminder that if you ally those military criminals, who committed genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, and they turn back to her now. So this is a reminder that you cannot be ally who are really committed, who were committed genocide, war crimes. You cannot, there is no way. So that she should understand it, and she should be prepared for it, and she shouldn't do, and she shouldn't be that place. This is the thing. So for me, I think this is quite worrying for the country, and we don't know, this is because of her leadership failure, I should say, during like 2015 to 2020, that time, 5 years time, she could do a lot. She did not do for the minorities and for the human rights issue in the country, particularly under her watch. In 21st century, the country in Burma, Western part, genocide happened. The world's largest refugee camp created happened in Bangladesh, where 780,000 people fled. So it's a good reminder for anyone who want to make a lie and who want to defend these kind of atrocities, that's come back,
Myra, you have been for long campaigning in the U.S. as leader of U.S. campaign on Burma. Tell us, what is your assessment of the reaction by the United States government?
It's a good question. It feels as though, to my, when you said feeling, of course, it feels as though they're just waking up all of a sudden, like, oh no, Burma is in a mess. But apparently Burma is in a mess for all along. Even started from 2010, when things are turning around a little bit, when things act up as a little good boy. And then 2011, 2012, 2013, when Aung San Suu Kyi came to the US to receive her gold medal award, the United States seemed to be so happy and thinking as if things are pretty good in Burma. And all of a sudden, then you see the visit at the White House, and then the Obama made promise to her, and then after all, the pressure were lifted and waived. And we talk about it all along. This is not what we wanted to see yet. It is not a stable situation yet. It is still worrisome. So why don't we go with action to action? If they do something right, then yes, we do reward him, because we wanted to work together for the better of the country, right? But the Obama administration didn't go that way. And then here you have Mitch McConnell, which always sided with Aung San Suu Kyi if there was anything that would harm her reputation. McConnell didn't do anything. He's been sitting on the Rohingya Genocide Act for how many years? At least 2 to 3 years. And so now they're just waking up all of a sudden. you start seeing statements from the Hill, from different senators, from here, the new administration. So I hope they're learning a hard lesson as well, that Burma is not the way they think. And so now they came out with statements which was a little bit encouraging. And I'm grateful for that. But I also wanted to say, it is very important to review the Obama administration's waivers and all those stuff and put everything back in place as necessary and in very quickly, in timely manner, because that is very important before we go too far, before the Burma trouble down further than this. Do something about it, and don't let go these bad guys freely. Otherwise, they never get punished until now, and that is why they keep abusing the people of Burma. They keep abusing their power. And I mean, we see it yesterday. They literally kick out Aung San Suu Kyi, the person that the US respects so much. So now they see this with their eyes. I hope this wake up is going to be a proper wake up, that they wanted to do something tangible.
Tun Khin, how has been the reaction of United Kingdom, where you are refugee from Burma, and the reaction of European Union?
So far, we have seen that compared with US is much stronger, you know, and UK is still. They might follow if US starts sanction. That is what I believe. So far, they're watching on it, what US will do. And UK as a pen holder today, even we talked to the UK Security Council members, we briefed them. What is important is they should do something immediately. One thing is, when we talk here, what they will do is one thing. It's important for the international community approaching. They cannot approach only that, you know, might be inclusive. We have seen that their approach in the past, Naypyidaw and Yangon, focusing. I mean, so-called democracy came to Burma only Naypyidaw and Yangon. What we have seen, that is not many international community didn't realize and ignore it, even though they knew it. You can see that 2020 November election, Rohingya population being ignored, you know, they're rejected, which was supported UEC commission by international donors. So when you talk about democracy in Burma, there should be genuine democracy. There should be all minorities issue should be discussed and should be on the table. That is one thing I want to point out, and that is why I believe that US do something and UK, EU may follow. One thing we can see that you know, sanction on military and military related companies, that is they are put in priority. And one thing, this is a good opportunity that UN Security Council, no matter who object, who protest it, the countries need to move forward publicly to mention that they support in international criminal refer Burma to ICC. That is very important.
You both have been a part of, you know, you both are, you know, from Burma as a country. And you must have a personal experience of military and what goes on. Would you like to share, Myra, and then Tun Khin, how do you see this military?
Well, I see military when I was younger, because I was born as an internally displaced person, literally in jungle. The moment I know myself, I fled for lives from the Burma army. So when I was younger, I was a child. I think about military as the monster. Like, they literally eat people alive and they really suck people's blood. That's how bad I was. And of course, later on, when I know things, I know better. Then of course, now I mean, they are the perpetrators. They are the killers, the murderers, the rapists. how else you have all kinds of those words for them out there, and that's how I see them still. Because why? Is because of the actions that they've taken, the persecution that they persecuted people when I was a child is still going on until now. I mean, yes, aside from our brothers and sisters, Rohingya brothers and sisters over in Bangladesh, and also some of them are still left behind in Rakhine State, we also have another 500,000 internally displaced people across the country. We have maybe another 100,000 refugees along the Thailand-Burma border. And their action is never taken into consideration by the international community to be stopped. And that is so bothering. So to me, they are still perpetrators. They are still the killers, the rapists, the abusive people. And yes, actually, that is the reality for me.
And they have been in power probably for 50 years plus.
Ever since, well, I mean, the military to us, the Korean community, if I were talking as a Korean, they have been in power since the beginning, the end of the Second World War. We've never experienced any peaceful life. And that is why we just celebrated the Korean Revolution, 72nd Korean Revolution on the 31st of January.
Tun Khin, I mean, people know the story of Rohingyas, but what has been your experience with the Burmese military?
There are so many. I just want to point out first thing, since when I was young in Arkhana State, we have seen the atrocity military did an operation. They killed the people, alive. And in 1994, there are many Rohingyas killed by military on that time. At least 400 people, according to the information. But our for military and other human rights group information, but for us it's about more than 3,000 people killed in 1994. They just call them for a kind of something they need to ask for a few minutes, and they never appeared back. Many people disappeared when I was in Arkan. That time I was quite young. One thing what I quite remember is 2017, I spent 4 weeks in Bangladesh, where our Rohingya brothers and sisters fled from the country because of genocidal acts. And, they burned down 400 villages, and they killed at least 15,000. According to our source, they burned alive children in 2017, August and September. They one story what I remember is one woman told me how the military cruel, and they entered to the Rohingya village and with a few trucks coming up, and they rounded up. When they coming in, they saw 10 years. One lady, she saw that 10 years old boy was, just straight the knife to that, and then they entered to her house, and she was raped in front of her husband, and her husband was slaughtered by the other military same time. And another military tried to rape her. She struggled, and she was able to flee. She was able to leave from home, and she joined other villages to flee the country. In one village, Tulatuli, one day 800 Rohingyas were killed by this Burmese military. They just slaughtered, raped Rohingya women in front of their family members, and slaughtered, and children been thrown to the fire when they come into the Rohingyas' houses. When they saw the children, they snatched from their mothers and just thrown to the fire when they burn in their houses. Unbelievable. I couldn't sleep for a few weeks when I listened this story. I remember you also visited there. is unbelievable. I don't know how to express totally. These stories are really, I hope no one will face that. That is the cruelty of Burmese military. So this is what we can see now. This military taking over the the power.
Thank you so much, Myra. Myra is the managing director of U.S. campaign for Burma, and thank you so much for Tun Khin, who is president of Burmese Rohingya organization. Thank you so much, and we'll be back with other guests after this break.
My wife, she's a professor at the University of Cincinnati, who's Catholic, and by her watching and listening to our 3-year-old son watch Adam's World, she ended up taking Kalima Shahada. She embraced Islam because she learned so much about Islam and the other prophets. It really affected our life in a great way, and because of Sound Vision and Adam's World, we're Muslims.
I took my Shahada 15 years ago, and I actually am from a rural part of Ohio. And so I found the catalog for Sound Vision, and I ordered the tapes and the CDs and the books, and I used those, and especially for my little daughter, that's how we basically learned our Islam, and Islam entered our hearts through the wonderful works of Sound Vision.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, brother. I just want you to know that I love the Sound Vision website, that a lot of times when I'm looking for information, especially as it relates to homelessness, domestic violence, and women issues, I go to that website, and then I see what you've written, and then I copy and paste it, and spread the word, because the wisdom is there, so I can't do any better than what Sound Vision has already done.
Sound Vision is our survival guide. It is the organization that provides skills for Muslims how to survive and thrive in this community here in the U.S.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Anam, I'm in 11th grade, and I grew up with Adam's World, and what it taught me was unity, respect, and love for the Muslim Ummah.
Adam's World is the greatest show ever made. Take me to the Kaaba, man. I love that puppet.
Welcome back to Muslim Network TV. This is Imam Malik Mujahid, and we're talking about what is happening in Burma. Military coup, US has condemned, but without mentioning that it's the same genocidal regime, genocidal military, which committed genocide against Rohingya. And Suu Kyi remains silent, and now she is betrayed by the same military she was trying to protect. And with me right now is Nasir Zakariya. Assalamu alaikum.
Wal Islam.
Nasir Zakariya is Executive Director of Rohingya Cultural Center of New York. Nasir Zakariya, were you, how is the community, Rohingya community in Chicago is feeling about what's happening in Burma right now?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Yesterday, last 2 days ago, the listening about Burma was going on. So our community is so sad about mostly civilian people in Burma. Same, like ongoing genocide for our people, again, for civilian people is happening in Burma right now. So Rohingya community of Chicago always concerned about condemn of regime military.
So, what's your experience with the Burmese military? Because Burmese military has been in power for almost all the time. Even when Aung San Suu Kyi was the chancellor, they had most of the important position with the military. So, what is your personal experience with the Burmese military?
Yeah, my experience, I born in Burma, in Arkan state. So I know how military is, torture, uh, when child time, when I saw my face in military, always target our Rohingya people. I remember one day when I tried to go to school. So we have bazaar, people going to a grocery bazaar. So when Rohingya people mostly far away, they come into bazaar. So they every day they arrested, hit by their gun. You know, like I can say like the military regime, we can believe, we can trust. What is bad, always bad. Bad thing do for us. So the Rohingya, every child, every person, they will never forget what they did for our Rohingya community.
So, is military bad just for the Rohingya people or for other people as well?
Other people are as well in like Kashing, Shing, so mostly minority. So like we are Rohingya Muslim, so Kashing, Shing is ethnic Christian religious. So mostly they are target our minority group, minority people mostly.
But the current government of Aung San Suu Kyi, which was dismissed, they were supported by almost all people, right?
Yes, yes. So before she get power, we hope her she can do. She stand for minority. When she get power, when she meets with regime military, and we hope it's broken. Not only Rohingya, other minority too. So she protect military regime always. So she don't care about minority ongoing genocide in Burma. They never use our Rohingya the name of vote. So now what's going on? She always she said that I am a military daughter as a Aung San Suu Kyi. So she always protect military. So we only concerned about right now mostly in Burma civilian people, as a Muslim and the non-Muslim, everyone suffering right now.
And let me add to the conversation. Adem Carroll here. Assalamu alaikum. Adem Carroll.
Hello, Brother Nasir.
Is the director of UN program at Justice for All, and he leads Burma Task Force team. We have been talking with Brother Nasir about the situation, about what is the role of Burmese military and the experience of Rohingya and other minorities with the Burmese military. There is a conversation, Adam, about that Aung San Suu Kyi was closer to the Chinese as compared to the military. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I am sure that all sides have their relationships with the Chinese. The Chinese, of course, are very ambitious, want to be engaged with pipelines going across to the Bay of Bengal, and a lot of the development, meaning destruction of Rohingya villages, has an economic incentive. All these enterprise zones and so forth. But I think that we see the Chinese play both sides. Also with the ethnic states, they play both sides. They destabilize their neighbors. And unfortunately, Myanmar is next door to China. And this is what comes with that. So I do think that Aung San Suu Kyi did develop a friendly relationship with China. She is very pro-development, if not, unfortunately, pro-minority rights or human rights. And in so many cases, as we all know, she was indistinguishable from the military. She comes from that elite class. But I think that to some extent, this power play, this coup, has arisen as an elite. Well, China has called it a cabinet reshuffle, but of course it is a coup. But it also has a personal dimension in that she and the General Lang don't get along. So there's that. We'll have to see, though, what the Burmese people want and what the Burmese people do next.
Well, what Burmese people want was shown in the November election. They elected a party and Aung San Suu Kyi with the overwhelming majority. And so that's very interesting. The China is calling it a cabinet reshuffle. And Nasir, how many Rohingyas are here in Greater Chicagoland?
So we are all 500 families in Chicago. So not only one state, we have Wisconsin, Indiana, Texas. So Alhamdulillah, we are, I believe, not exact amount, I mean more than 15,000 Rohingya in the United States.
But there are other Burmese refugees here, right?
Yes.
Kachin and Karen, and altogether a pretty large number of refugees in the United States. Have you been in touch with how they are feeling about this military coup in Burma?
So most Kachin community in Indiana, so they are also concerned about that. So they are also worried about always military regime's power. So everyone is so sad. So last night someone has called me. He said that, so we can do something for this military regime. So we can trust anymore in regime military. So I mean, they are big community, Kachin. So they are always, I mean, target. They say they are always target our minority group. So that is, they will condemn.
Adam, what are you hearing from the different ethnic communities? Is any community which is satisfied with the military takeover?
So now, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I mean, everyone is waiting because it's in Burma. They cut internet, phone line is cut. So everyone is waiting for update news.
And I hear that as well. I think there's talk about some nonviolent resistance, but we'll see what form that takes. But as far as ethnic groups here in the U.S., I do see that the Karen have invited other ethnic leaders from other communities to join them for a rally in Washington, D.C. this Saturday. of course, with social distancing, some people may prefer to take other kinds of actions online. We've, of course, been asking for sanctions. I just came from a UN meeting. It was supposed to be with the ambassador, the British ambassador to the UN, but she's actually meeting this morning in a long closed meeting on Burma, on the issue. And of course, she's got to struggle with China and Russia also at the table, and India now as part of the council. So we'll see what they come up with, if any. But I pushed the deputy ambassador, Jonathan Allen, who I've met before, to promote sanctions and to consider an arms embargo and to dare the authoritarian countries to veto a resolution and not just to push the action down the road. And I reminded him that a failure to act would really be a wounding lack of support for the Burmese people.
But is there, I saw as you might have seen it, President Biden's statement, Secretary of State and all that, there is no mention of genocide, that it is the same army which committed genocide of Rohingya and is responsible for crimes against humanity on Kachin and Karen and other people. So do you expect the United Nations statement to be void of that background? Because if there was a stronger stand taken against genocidal policies of the military will be under check, and they may not have tried to dismiss this particular government. So what are your expectations or efforts to ensure that the genocide of Rohingyas is part of the conversation instead of completely shifting focus to dismissal of Aung San Suu Kyi?
No, I agree. It shouldn't all be about her. I think, though, that she is, since she won so overwhelmingly, she stands in as shorthand for democracy. But democracy and pluralism, supporting and protecting minority populations, they go together. You can't have democracy and commit genocide. It's a hollow, false democracy. But many of the Burmese people aren't fully informed. So recognizing that, I think we have to have a two-pronged strategy of reminding the international community not to throw the Rohingya under a bus, excuse me for that phrase, but not to ignore that in their wish to safeguard democracy and open markets. I was glad that Louis Charbonneau from Human Rights Watch backed me up on the call for sanctions this morning in the meeting. But I think that we do have to get people and international leaders to focus on the really corrupt and criminal nature of this military group of leadership.
Well, thank you so much, Adem. Adem is Director of Justice for All at the United Nations, and Nasir Zakariya, who is Executive Director of Rohingya Cultural Center of Chicago. Thank you so much, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation with another guest from Burma.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adem. You remember me? I appeared in so many episodes that Sound Vision has put on the market. No matter what. Hey, what's happening? Hey, oh, sorry. Lockdown is what it is. Well, continuing here. In this lockdown, Sound Vision never stops thinking about you, the viewer. We'll have to get back into production again, online and inline. Everybody in their own space, even me. Although I'm stuck with Lanisa.
Salam! Salam! Salam!
I know, you were shocked too. Well, let me continue. This is what I was going to say. Salam! 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 Cut! 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 Finally, I get my own screen time again. Thank God. And so we invested in new equipment to bring you even better production with new songs and new singers and animations. Well, here are a few clips. And Sound Vision has brought all this into your home, making Islamic values and teachings easy. And if you know me, Adem, a multi-talented actor, well, sometimes I'm an actor and the reporter and the... Oh, that's enough. Let's move on to the next section. Well, you can watch these new episodes on our new app at www.adamsworldapp.com. We have previews happening every day on Muslim Network TV. Sound Vision has been serving generations, moving and changing with the times. We are all faithfully connected. That is a huge blessing. Your donation helps keep these programs available now and into the future. We take this job of helping tomorrow's Muslims today seriously, and you should too. Today, we need your help. Children absorb and learn from everything they encounter. Make that wholesome, positive, grounded in our faith. Together, we can accomplish our goal of raising better Muslims, better neighbors, and better citizens. Please donate generously. It's an investment in our future. But to finish, let me tell you, there are new scripts of my new mission. And it is something that I enjoy talking about. My new mission is space. Houston, we do not have a problem. Salam, see you soon.
Welcome back to Muslim Network TV. As we know that military has taken over Burma, this is the same military which committed genocide against Rohingyas and crimes against humanity, again, Kachin and Karen people. To discuss, continue to discuss that topic with us is YY New. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam.
Welcome to Muslim Network TV, YY. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. YY New is Burmese activist, executive director of Women Peace Network. So have you been able to communicate with people in Burma since the coup?
Oh, yes. Since the early stage of coup, like in midnight on February 1st, we are receiving the rumors and some informations from the colleagues and friends in Myanmar. And it took a while for us. We thought it was a rumor, it was not real. And it took 2 hours to confirm that it was the coup. And since then, I've been following very, very closely, 24 hours until now.
So is the phone communication, internet communication restored?
So internet communication is available. Phone communications are still limited in many places. The military-owned company's phone services is available, which is the Mytel telephone service, which is owned by the Commander-in-Chief Mi Aung Hlaing's family. And that communication is available. For other network, it's very limited and it's still not fully restored. In terms of internet, the internet that is connected to the phones are not. It was limited. It was somehow, in and out. The internet communication with the cable, home internet are still working, so we are able to contact with friends and colleagues and activists in Myanmar.
Okay, so tell me, is there any effort for people to protest?
So people are already protesting in different various forms, not on the street yet, but young people, student activists, started to organizing themselves, and some issued statements. Some are doing like Facebook social media campaign. Some we just had like a few hours ago a kind of a social media campaign that led to like beating the pots and drums campaign. So there was like about 1 hour of like making noise in entire city in Yangon. So yeah, the various form of protests are started, but we don't know where it will lead.
What is, if somebody asks you to do some recommendation for what the United States need to do at this moment, what would be your recommendations?
So since yesterday we were seeing some statements from the new administrations, I think they are necessary, important. What we want to see is a more bolder and comprehensive response to the situation, to the situations in Myanmar right now, which include the reinstating the sanctions that was there before 2016, and also for the for the Congress to enact the resolutions Burma Act immediately, and to basically we need to put the sanctions over the military and military-owned businesses and their partners' businesses. It is key. And we also need all other pressures, diplomatic and security, all the other available pressures at this point. And the Security Council I think already have a meeting today at this point. And we want the US government to be active there, unlike previous administrations. And we want to see the UN Security Council send a delegation to Myanmar immediately. And also, the most important thing is the general who initiated this coup. These militaries, these individuals are the people, the institutions, and the individuals that committed genocide against the Rohingya. So we need to hold these perpetrators of international crimes accountable, it is time for the UN Security Council to refer the situations of the Myanmar to the International Criminal Court, and US is a leader in it, and they could play hard for this. We want the US to stand with the people and to end this military dictatorship, and to need to hold these perpetrators accountable.
Now, the statement issued by President Biden and Secretary of State, it is good a statement, but it does not mention the military role in committing genocide. Do you think that if world has reacted strongly against the military genocide, military would have been weakened?
No, the world has not responded enough or adequately, appropriate manner, given the intensity and the crimes that happens against against our people, the Rohingya population. We feel completely ignored and marginalized and abandoned by the international community. And I think the last administration failed to acknowledge the crime as it is. And I really hope to see these administrations with recognize they recognize the crimes as it is, as genocide.
What is your feeling about Aung San Suu Kyi? I mean, she was an icon, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, led the country, and now she's detained again. What is your feeling about her?
Sorry. I think, I mean, we do have emotions, right? She was a person that we would look up to, and we grew up inspiring her, but her positions and her treatment towards the Rohingya and her stance on the human rights issues in Myanmar actually was really, I mean, how do I say that? It was somehow unbelievable, and we felt betrayed and very disappointed, upset. And however, at this point, we think, the genocide, again, we need to remember that the genocide happened under her administration. And we cannot let anybody get away with the crimes that happen in Myanmar against these people, right? So that is one issue. On the other hand, as a personal level, as a person, yes, she was our inspiration. It's not just us, I mean the whole world, right? But she betrayed everybody, and now she is under arrest again. And I think on principle, we should not support military dictatorship just because we don't like her. I mean, at this point, our positions and our stance is on the basics of democracy and on opposing military dictatorship and on opposing this military coup. And I also believe civilian government is the only solutions for Myanmar, whether it is Aung San Suu Kyi or anybody. And Myanmar people selected her, selected her by giving majority of their vote. So we need to acknowledge and accept that too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vaivanu. Vaivanu is Burmese activist, executive director of Women's Peace Network. And thank you for Sherdil Khan and Dr. Abdul Wahid for producing today's show. And thank you so much for watching. You can always watch us. Stay tuned for other programming. Muslim Network TV is on Galaxy 19 satellite, covering whole North America, on Apple TV, Amazon TV, Fire TV. Our website is muslimnetwork.tv. You can download our app. And also, if you watch on YouTube, you can watch us there, or on Facebook. Do remember to like and subscribe. Peace. Salam.